right? And you know what? I think we can get it. I think we can. I think we can get it. I can do it through Restream. I think I can. So we're just gonna come up with a song.
Yeah.
This one. And I thought this through. I'm using 2 monitors today. So I got Instagram over here and TikTok over here. I'm going to try not to be as distracted as I was last week because that sucked.
I don't think it was that big a deal.
You know what? Could have been worse, that's for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome, Dr. Tiff. How are you?
I am great. Thanks for having me, as usual.
For having you. This is the Dr. Tiffany show.
The Barbecue Gym Dr. Tiffany show. We really got to come up with a name. Somebody got to give us something.
What about that right there?
Barbecue Gym and Dr. Tiffany?
Or vice versa? What about just that?
Okay. Why not?
I'm not opposed to that at all. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Tiffany Marie and Barbecue Gym live stream. It doesn't have quite the ring tone.
No.
We got to smooth that out a little bit. But welcome to our live stream. This is a weekly live stream, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Tuesday night. I am fortunate enough to be joined by Dr. Tiffany Marie for this live stream. And we go through and we talk about something that's kind of making waves right now as far as health is going. We've got people all over the place just changing their lives. Personally, I have reversed type 2 diabetes. I've completely reversed type 2 diabetes. And when I say that I've completely reversed it, I had a 12.2% A1C. I now have a completely unmedicated 5.2% A1C. It's absolutely amazing. So to that point, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. And this live stream really is to bring in people to kind of tell their stories. But it's one thing for people to hear me tell my testimonial. And that's where we've got Dr. Tiffany Marie. And Dr. Tiff, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself because I love that you're here.
Oh, well, thanks. Of course, I love being here. And I am a real medical doctor. As many times as I get that on social media. Are you a real doctor? Yep. I went to medical school about 20 years ago. You can see part of my degrees, but family practice trained for a good 20 years. And then I decided, you know what, there's got to be something else than giving all these drugs because I'm tired of writing prescriptions. And that's how I got into lifestyle medicine and ran into somebody on social media that introduced me to these products that are helping transition people to get them off of their meds, just like Barbecue Gym here, just like the Healthy Pitmaster. So that's why I'm here. And because I get to help so many people, help my family. See, I had a father who died after his third stroke because he refused to take medications or change his lifestyle. So I'm on a mission to help other people not have to deal with that. So I'm excited to be here.
You know, Dr. Tiff, that was the first video that I think I ever saw of yours. And it went pretty viral, as I recall. And it was basically you saying that. You were, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Would you what was that video?
Yeah. It literally says, I'm just tired of writing prescriptions. That's the tagline. That was it.
I have to think that it is as exhausting for you writing prescriptions and knowing that we're not going to see a whole lot of results as it is for the person who is getting the prescription and then not getting the result. Is that reasonably accurate?
I don't know if it's as exhausting. Well, maybe only because, the people who do medicine and love medicine, we do it because we want to help our patients. So if we're constantly writing something and we aren't seeing good results, yeah, that does take the fun out of medicine and leads to physician burnout. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm going to digress a little bit. I've heard you say that a couple times. Physician burnout. Tell me what that is. I mean, I know what that is. In my head, I know what that is. But I've heard you say that now a few times, and I've been meaning to ask you about it. What is that?
Okay, so the doctors that actually diagnose these conditions we're going to go into later, diabetes, blood pressure, high cholesterol, they're your primary care doctors, your family practice doctors, your internal medicine doctors. We traditionally don't even get paid as much as some of your specialists, right? So we're the ones that have to see you back to back to back in that 20-minute slot. and we're the ones writing all those scripts without seeing a lot of results, or we have unhappy patients because they're mad they got to wait all that time because they're squeezing in that schedule because we're trying to squeeze you in. And so you get that backlash. And you know what? You get tired of doing this. That's why you see so many doctors now. I mean, the numbers of primary care doctors graduating from medical school, the ones that are choosing that specialty, is decreasing, is dwindling. You have areas that have primary care physician shortage areas. I do telemedicine because of that. So I can reach those areas that don't have providers. And we're getting burnt out. Much like patients are getting burnt out, we're not as happy with the healthcare system either, the sick care system either.
The sick care. That, and I think that's, and I've said this before, that is what I love about you is your honesty with what this is. You know, I remember specifically hanging out with you in Huntsville. It's been a while back. And you had made a comment, and I'm gonna probably screw it up. But it was to the effect of, we as the medical professionals have a lot of ground to make up. There's a lot of lost trust. Yeah. Is that I think I remembered something like that. Okay. So everybody, welcome to this live stream. We're going to talk about the Unicity field rate system. And the Unicity field rate system, it is a practice. It is intermittent fasting. It is a specifically formulated tea that we drink on. It's a yerba mate extract, and we'll go into detail about that, and a fiber supplement. And this isn't like Metamucil or Benefiber or something like that. It's a very specific fiber supplement. It's paired with a multivitamin, and that little combination right there is amazing. It's been studied all over the world. And it's one thing to say, hey, you know what? Why this stuff? Why this stuff? Well, this stuff has proven results. And it addresses something. And Doc, I'm going to get ready to hand over the baton to you, but it has proven results. What is the problem? Why? What is the problem with our health today? Do you have a moment to tell us? Of course, I know that.
Of course I do. And the problem is just, it'd be nice to say that it's not that small a problem, but it is a huge problem. And I actually queued up some different slides this time too.
Oh, right on.
Well, I thought they were different. No, it looks like the same ones. Okay, so the problem really is the fact that only 7% of Americans have good cardiometabolic health. I mean, that's huge, which means, let me go back to that, because if you do your subtraction from 100% to 7%, that means 93% of us are not healthy. Okay, 1 in 3 people have metabolic syndrome, which usually involves a lot of these symptoms that we have that we're going to talk about. And then 1 out of 100 people are on those statin medications to decrease your cholesterols, but it's only helping, not 1 out of 100 people on them. It's only helping 1 out of 100 people with their cardiovascular risk, which is the huge thing. And trying to change the lifestyle changes, that actually gives us better results. You can actually decrease your risk 39%. So metabolic health, that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about this visceral obesity, the high blood pressure, the insulin resistance, the high triglycerides. It's a global concern affecting everyone, people of all nations, but it can be reversed naturally. We talk about diabetes a lot, to where we have 1 out of 10 people that are dealing with this condition. And then 1 out of 4 don't even know they have it. And then pre-diabetes. 9 out of 10 people don't know how they have pre-diabetes. And that's the precursor. That's the bomb before we get to diabetes. Those are people walking around thinking they're good, they're cool, and they're not. They're just like a Twinkie away from getting diabetes. And then we have heart disease. So that is still the number 1 killer, still killing Americans, number 1, but it's high on the list for all these other countries as well. The diabetes range is growing out of control to where it's becoming a worldwide problem. I mean, with the estimations in 2040, up to 642 million across the world. Then there's non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And that's when you get all this fat in your liver, really because you're having too much storage there because your sugars have been too high. And that's about 30% of people dealing with that. And so if you're like me, you can't go to any event, go to any church function, go to the grocery store without tripping over somebody you know has something like this. With all the amputations, the chronic kidney disease, the chronic lung disease, and all these things can be changed with how we live our lifestyle. And so what do all these things have in common? These things have one big thing in common: obesity, heart disease, migraines, high blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, insulin resistance. And insulin being a hormone that most of us know, because that's what our grandma or our auntie was doing to bring down their sugar diabetes. They were giving themselves that shot. Insulin is a hormone that has many functions, but it brings energy into the cells. Well, it opens up the channel to bring the glucose into the cells, and it regulates blood glucose levels. And then insulin resistance is a condition in which your body does not respond well to that insulin. And so how do we get there? How do we get to insulin resistance? Having too much insulin in our bloodstream. But what causes that is what we eat and drink. So if you look at this little circle down here, this little fast food circle, the burger, the fries, the soda, the sugar, what you're going to see is that blue line. That's from the carbohydrates, because that's what that bread and that sugar and the soda, all that stuff breaks down into, right? Well, that's what they are. They break down into glucose. So that's that blue line. It shoots up really high, and then it makes your pancreas have to release insulin. And when it releases insulin, it releases it so much that it drops that sugar so quickly, and you end up in this red zone, the hypoglycemia zone, that place where people are like, oh, I'm hypoglycemic. I don't have sugar problems, but you get here because your insulin was too high. And then you also have the itis here, to where you're feeling awful and tired and worn out, and you think you have to take a nap. And then when the sugars are high, sugars are low, what happens is you think you need to eat again. That's why so many people are constantly hungry too. Okay. And so how do we fix this problem? Just like I was saying, it's so lifestyle related. There's 5 things you can do: decreasing your carbohydrates, doing low glycemic index meals, avoiding processed foods, because nobody needs to be eating those. Those are not for anybody to eat. I mean, we don't even give them to our dogs. I don't know why we still eat them. And then you have weight training, lifting weights, higher fiber, eating more fiber. Eating more veggies would be great. But for most people who are not even doing that, using the fiber supplement that we like is very helpful. And then time-based eating. So anything that's going to allow you to be able to take time and not eat and not snack is going to allow you to be able to reverse these conditions that are killing us. So that's the problem. And our lifestyle can fix it.
And our lifestyle can fix it. So for those of us that are that have been here for a little while, if you've been to this live stream now, I think we're almost 2 months now of doing this. I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of crazy to think of. This is number 7 or 8, something like that. For those of you that have been here, you know that I like to ask Dr. Tiffany a question every single week. And I like to kind of dig in a little bit, dig my heels in a little bit, and ask her a question that I think a lot of people might be curious of, but they don't. They're afraid to ask their doctor. But I know that she's in another state, so I'm safe. Dr. Tiffany Marie, if this is a nutrition problem, right? It's what we're eating. It's the foods that we're eating that are causing the problem, right? If that's the case, how many hours of nutrition did you study to get your medical degree?
Yeah. That is such a that's such a little So, I mean, first of all, it was like 20 years ago. So, I barely studied it then. We barely had nutrition classes then, but it is averaged at less than about 20 hours or what we get. But we also study nutrition from a different perspective. Like, we'll look at vitamin deficiencies. We look at different things, what your body looks like, as opposed to how we can help train you to eat better, or show you how to make some good meals, or show you what food groups are better for us to eat. That's where we're missing the application part of the nutrition. But I mean, because it's obvious we need to have it, schools are trying to incorporate it more, but it's still averaging about 20 hours or less.
And I guess the direction that question would go to is when your doctors are prescribing medications over saying, hey, try this way of eating, because eat better, change your diet, start eating better. When they told me that, they didn't tell me what that meant.
Right.
Is that why?
That is why. That is why. I mean, and then also factor in the time problem, trying to squeeze in all those people. That's when we get great people like diabetes educators. That's when we started, sending people there to be able to get some more focused time. Now, there are some specialties that do this. Lifestyle medicine does teach nutrition and how to coach. That's what I've gotten. That's how I'm able to do what I'm doing. So that is a new specialty, relatively new, that came out that does that too.
And that's what you're doing. You're taking what you already know about the human body, the anatomy and all that, and now you're pairing it with the nutrition side. And that's what's making what you do so effective.
Yes, 100% it does.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I think I got away with another question. Not gonna beat me up.
Yeah, because you're there. That's why.
On that side of the camera. Okay, so let me just tell everybody that's coming into this live stream right now. Hi, Tamika. How are you? We are live across, oh boy, more than 10 different social media platforms. We are live on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, DLive. We're live on a lot of different platforms right now, and I can see most of your comments. I have to kind of look over to a different couple of cameras here to see TikTok and over here to see Instagram, but I can see you. Dr. Tiff has a couple of channels here. So first thing, Dr. Tiff, why don't you tell how to find you on social media?
Yep, pretty much. Dr. Tiffany Marie should help you find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter too.
Okay.
And Facebook. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you have been tagged, if somebody has tagged your name into here, that means that they think that this is something that could benefit you, that this could directly benefit you. So if, as we get through this, if it sounds like something that you're interested in, just get with the person that tagged you. The person that tagged you into this live stream, whichever platform it is, they know how to order the product. The product is ordered through a referral system. You buy it directly from the manufacturer, okay? You don't buy it from Amazon or anything like that. You're not going to find it in the grocery store. You buy it direct from the manufacturer, and you do that with a referral code to get the best price. The way that you get the referral code is by going to the person who invited you into this. So with that being said, I think the best part, well, I mean, of course, the best part of this is talking to you, Dot. But the second best part is the testimonials.
Yes.
And with that being said, I'm going to take second fiddle here and let you introduce John.
Oh, great. I have had the awesome experience. So I'm a doctor that also, because I do a lot of stuff, used to do DLT exams. So when I got to meet John as a trucker who was talking about how he had to change his life around to be able to fix his health and finding a product that helped him do that, and his story, it just became a no-brainer. I ended up doing a post with him, video on his story. So I can't wait to bring him up here for him to just tell us all about it. And I'm so happy that he joined us today.
Let me see.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, everybody. How are y'all doing?
Hey, John.
Well, let's see. Where should I start? I've been a truck driver for 20 years. That's about 20 years too long, if you ask me. And I was a big guy when I started. And being a truck driver didn't make it any easier. I did have some success with a couple of diets. And it's not that diets don't work, they're just unsustainable. But being out there on the road, it just made things much more difficult because we drive up to 11 hours a day, 14 hours to get it done, 70 hours during the week. And when you push for time, then you don't really have time always to search out healthy options that are already far and few in between out there, and let alone have some time to exercise. So my highest weight was 373.6 pounds. Yeah, 373.6. And I was praying constantly to not get to that 400. I remember when I crossed the 300 mark. That was not a good day. So I would get down on my knees very carefully because these knees was aching. But I would get down on my knees and just say, Lord, please help me to not get to 400 pounds. And I came across the field grade system. And I didn't wait. I jumped right on in it because I was at that point where my desperation outweighed my skepticism. So I decided to give it a try because I tried everything else. Nothing else worked. So what's one more thing? Mm-hmm. Gave it a shot. And the very first week, what I noticed was that my energy level skyrocketed. Loads of energy. Prior to that, I was drinking a lot of Monsters, Red Bulls, 5-hour energies. You name it. And the truck stops are full of them. They're full of some. And they make it so easy, to gain weight out there. But all of that stopped. Second month, I noticed a little bit more air conditioning in the clothes. Everything's starting to fit a lot easier. I'm like, okay, something's working here. But, whenever I walk by the mirror, I still saw the same old me. And I'm looking around on social media, seeing everybody, and it's like, man, I can't wait to show the results like that. In the 3rd month, I'm still feeling the energy, still noticing the clothes fitting looser. You know, had to put a few more holes in my belt, and I also had to take a DOT physical. And I was kind of concerned, and every truck driver at some point in time is concerned about their blood pressure, because that can like put you out of business very, very quickly and unexpectedly. I was getting concerned, but when I went in to take my physical, blood pressure came out normal. You know, 130 something over 80 something, and yeah, it was definitely passing. And that's also when I remembered that they told me to take pictures. So I'm like, I went to go take a second set of pictures, put them, you know, next to the first set, and that's when I could see that my belly really was shrinking. Not only that, but my face was shrinking. I'm like, yeah, this is working. I mean, there's a 90-day money back guarantee, but I'm like, you know, keep the money. Keep the money. Just give me some more of this Feel Great system.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. But like I said, being a truck driver is not the easiest thing. Every truck driver needs a Feel Great system. You know, and I'm finding out that the labeling of a lot of the foods that we eat are extremely misleading. You know, here it is. I thought I was being healthy by switching from the chips to the beef jerky, you know, still full of salt, not to mention expensive. I switched from the candy bars to the protein bars, still got a lot of high fructose corn syrup in them. You know, I switched from the sodas to the smoothies. Yeah, sugar water. And I was wondering why I wasn't losing any weight.
Right. That's real talk. That's real talk.
Yeah.
That's good. I love it. And what you're doing now is you're helping all these other people. I mean, really, the truck drivers are the most unhealthiest population. Let me just make that clear. So much so that they had to make us take a whole nother test to be able to regulate people who are driving trucks. So the fact that you're out there and being able to help other people is awesome.
Yeah. Every time I come across a truck driver, I'm always telling them, every truck driver needs to be on this, you know, with the quickness. Don't hesitate. If y'all know any truck drivers, definitely get them on this. Get them on this for real. Y'all have no idea what we go through out there. And please be careful when you're driving next to these trucks.
Yes. Yes.
That's
well,
a
thanks
powerful
so much.
John.
Yes, it is.
John, thank you, sir. You're a rock star, man.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having
me.
me.
All right, brother. Okay. Well, that's awesome. You know what? I've met John a couple times now. He is such an easygoing dude, kind of tells you like it is. I love that story. Dr. Tiff, something I get asked a lot is, what about type 1 diabetics? Would this system benefit a type 1 diabetic?
I love that question. And in fact, when I started getting on social media, it was a type 1 diabetic that reached out to me and was like, you know what? I've been doing these lifestyle changes you talk about, and I've been able to need less insulin. So 100%, this actually amplifies those lifestyle changes. So, okay, what is a type 1 diabetic? Let me back up. That's somebody who cannot make insulin. Their pancreas is not able to do that. And it's an autoimmune issue. And like I like to say about autoimmune issues, that's when your body's attacking itself. It really is a list of conditions that we really don't fully know that much about. So we say your body's attacking itself. So, you know, that's a problem, right? But the point is they can't make insulin when they eat anything that's going to break down to where they need it. So if you're not eating those foods and you have some decreasing the carbohydrates that get into your bloodstream, yes, it will help you. It'll help you need less exogenous insulin, outside insulin, because that's how they fix the problem. And of course, that leads to swelling. And there's some studies with heart failure with taking insulin. So they don't have to have as much insulin. And I had a type 1 diabetic reach out to me about it. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me too.
I think so. Double diabetic. And something I like to really emphasize is their blood cell, the cell that's receiving the glucose, that's no different than my cell or your cell, right? It's the pancreas. It's the function of the pancreas that's not producing the insulin. But their cell can become resistant to the insulin just like mine.
Yep.
So they actually stand a chance at becoming type 2 diabetic at the same time, double diabetic.
Well, definitely with the insulin resistance over time, all that exogenous insulin, it can be, that'd be some, okay.
And just to build on that, if you are insulin resistant, that could lead to insulin resistance of the brain, type 3 diabetic. The type 1 could be triple diabetic. That's terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. So yes, short answer is yes. This absolutely benefits a type 1 diabetic just like it does anybody else in the world. Your cells, a type 1 diabetic, can become just as insulin resistant as anybody else out there. In fact, I would even argue, Dr. Tiffany, and you keep me in my lane. You keep me in my lane. But I would argue that it would be easier for a type 1 to become insulin resistant because, you know, our bodies are pretty brilliant. They know how much insulin to put into the bloodstream. A type 1, I don't want to say guess, but they're kind of guessing how much insulin to inject themselves with. It would be easier to over-inject, would it not? Or do I not know this well enough?
I mean, that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment.
Okay. So we come across people like John Hilliard, right? Random people that you've met on TikTok or social media. But then there are other people where you start seeing things happen. Like I reversed type 2 diabetes, and I have now seen just a ton of people reverse type 2 diabetes. And when you see it actually working like this, the first people you want to talk to are your family members. And so both my mother and my mother-in-law both had type 2 diabetes.
Wow.
Had.
Had. I love that word.
Type 2 diabetes. And I want to introduce my mother-in-law, okay? I'm going to bring her in here. Right? Random people that you've met on TikTok. You got to turn your volume down, Jen. Media. But then there are other people where hey, Jen. I'm going to just turn her camera off real quick. Jen, you've got a camera in the background, or you've got something playing in the background that we can hear my echo. Can you mute whatever the live stream is that you got going on? Because we can hear the echo. So I'm going to bring her in here.
I love that word.
Type 2 diabetes. And I want to introduce my mother-in-law. Okay, Jen. I'm going to bring her in here. Okay, Jen, I'm going to introduce Michael. I'm going to introduce Michael. And between now and the end of Michael, did you get it?
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you though.
Oh.
And I've got it enabled. I'm not muted, and I've got the video going, but I can't hear you only if I get you on the phone. So I don't know what happened.
Well,
but I can tell my story.
Tell your story.
How's that?
Tell your story.
Okay. Well, Jim said I'm his mother-in-law. I've known him for quite a number of years. I've been a diabetic since probably 2010. I have lost 40 pounds. I've been on this program, a year and a half now, I think, Jim? Something like that. And I was really skeptical at first. Really, really skeptical, because I was afraid not to take my insulin shot, because I didn't know what was going to happen to my body if I didn't take the insulin, right? But Jimmy convinced me eventually, and I gradually, through Jim's help, went down with my insulin shots, where I'm not on insulin any longer. I'm not on statins any longer. I'm not on high blood pressure medicine any longer. That's it. What else? Yoo-hoo! The only thing I'm on is I only have one kidney, because I had kidney stones, and I had a kidney removed back in '78. So I'm on medication, potassium citrate, for that. And I've had lithotripsy over the years, and I keep getting checkups, and x-rays and all that. The last x-ray I had showed no stones. Now, I can't, and maybe Jimmy, you can, I can't 100% attribute that to this system, but I'm kind of leaning that way. I mean, how else would I not have any stones now? And I feel great. I mean, I'm going to be 80 this month. So I just, thank God for Jimmy. in the feel great system.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to
And
turn
she
you up because I can't hear
yeah,
you.
turn me up. And there, I think I was able to mute her. There, if you can hear me, that works. I muted you temporarily on here so it's not getting the background. A question would be, Dr. Tiffany, kidney stones are gone. And for 50 years, a half century, she's had kidney issues. And without being her diagnosing doctor or making any radical claims, it is weird that when she started this system, they kind of went away. She's had them her entire life, basically, and now they're gone. Either her medications just now started working after a half century, or there's something happening here. But Jen, a full reversal of type 2 diabetes. What is your A1C now, Jen?
Oh, my highest A1C was 8. And about less than a month ago, I went in for the 6-month check or whatever it was, and it was 5.8. 5.8.
Awesome.
And he said, that's it. You don't have diabetes any longer.
You actually heard your
I
doctor.
still
He
have to
said
go back and keep checking, obviously. But yeah, I mean, what a great feeling.
he said
What a great
remission.
feeling.
Mhm.
He said remission. Did he not?
I can't hear you.
He did. He said the word remission, everybody, okay? Okay. Yeah, I got the big guns out. My mother-in-law, Anastasia. You know what? It is really cool to meet people like John Hilliard. We've had a lot of people coming onto these live streams now for, 7-8 weeks now, Dr. Tiffany. But it's amazing when it's your family.
Yes.
It's amazing when it's your family. So my mother-in-law, just to recap, has had a complete reversal of type 2 diabetes. She's in remission. Her doctor used the word remission. Her doctor said, you're in remission. That was her doctor's wording, not me making that up. She's off of her statin medications. You heard her say her blood pressure is normalized, and she hasn't had any kidney stones since she started the system. It's amazing. And at the ripe young age of 80. And the reason I like to bring that up is a lot of times people feel like, I'm too far gone. I'm too old. I can't turn this thing around.
Yes.
And it really goes to play, Dr. Tiffany, that you're never really too old to reverse insulin resistance, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay. Jen, I know you can't hear me. We will see you. It's amazing. I love this. I love this. And she was, and of course, there was the background feed noise problem. But what's cool about her is that Amanda and I, my wife's name is Amanda, we were really pushing her like, hey, you got to try this. Like the annoying family members, right? Try this. And she was going overseas for a vacation. She's from England. She was going to England to visit her family, and she didn't want to start a new program when she went on vacation. And so she went overseas, and I don't know if she said it in there or not, but she was taking between 30 and 60 units of insulin every day. And she came home from her trip to England, which is when she started. And within, it was like 5 or 6 weeks, she was off her insulin. And here she is a year and a half later in remission.
Which is awesome. Yes.
Awesome.
Living your best life in your 80s. Yes to that for me.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to introduce Michael. Now, this one is really, really cool as well. And what's cool about Michael is a skeptic. I'm just going to use the word skeptic to say the least. And let me bring him into here. How are you, brother?
All right. How are y'all?
I'm doing wonderful, Michael. And we've got a little bit more time. We've kind of gone through those first two a little bit quicker. I said 8 to 10 minutes, but actually you've kind of got a little more time than 8 or 10 minutes. I would say tell your story. It's pretty amazing. How did we meet? Where were you at? Where are you at now? How long have you been sick? Just tell your story, brother. I think your story is fascinating.
All right. Hold on to your hats. I have been over 400 pounds for about 10 years now. I've tried those diets like Herbalife, Isogenics, Weight Watchers. I've tried them all. I did lose weight on them, but I was not able to maintain the weight loss. And about 6 years ago or so is when I was pre-diabetic, if there is such a term, but 6 years ago, I went full blown, I guess you would call it. And they started me on the metformins, and gradually, as time went on, up and up and up on different things. But 6 or 7 months ago, I was sitting in my recliner and surfing through TikTok, just a normal day, eating a large pizza because I averaged one large pizza a day. I mean, when you're a power eater and you're 492 pounds, you're only 8 pounds away for a quarter of a ton. It takes a lot of food to fill you up. But I've always been the type of person, even though I was big as I am, I was real athletic in high school and college. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to carry around that weight. I know people that's 300 pounds that have to use a walker and a cane to even move. And even at 492 pounds, I got around as good as most normal people. But I met Jim 6 or 7 months ago through TikTok, and his name is what actually caught my attention because the healthy pitmaster. Hey, pitmaster and eating goes hand in hand. And so I'm watching this live and I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, he's not talking about food. And he mentions the word lisinopril. And I'm like, my mom's on lisinopril. And he goes, do you know lisinopril is derived from snake venom? And I'm like, really? So it caught my attention right there. And I'm steadily eating this pizza away, and as I'm watching him, and he goes through talking about intermittent fasting. And I was like, fasting? Yeah, right. And then he goes through the system and everything, and I just kind of blew it off. And then, like I said, for 6 months, I'd come across his live, and then I thought, finally, you know what? I'm gonna follow this guy. He's entertaining. And I caught myself more and more watching him and listening and soaking it and seeing. But he mentioned that I was a skeptic. Well, I was. And because I knew what I had done in the past, but at this point in time in my life, I was on all of these medications and things that he was talking about, and he was telling me a way to fix it and all. But I'm like, I don't know about that, because I'm on a fixed income. I can't afford a whole lot more, but I ended up back in June at my diabetic doctor. And of course, it was time for blood work. And I didn't know what I weighed. That's when I found out I was 492 pounds. And I'm like, Jesus, I've never been this big in my life. I said, so my doc comes in and sets my file down and looks at me, and he goes, you're almost 52 years old, right? I said, yes. He said, you're not going to see 55. I said, well, do what? He says, at the rate that you're going and the things that you're doing and the health that you're you'll be lucky to see 55. He says, you're going to have to change now. Folks, I'm just going to tell you that was an eye opener for me. So it immediately came to the back of my mind about Jim's live streams. I'd watched them for 6 months, but I was skeptical about it. And so when I got back, I decided, you know what? this company offers a 90-day money back guarantee. What have I got to lose? It's not going to hurt a thing for me to try. So I jumped on board and I started on the system. And then that's when things started happening. I used to take these things every day, stick them in my gut, and they was putting this down me for diabetes. I had side effects off it. They put this down me for diabetes. They put this down me for diabetes. They put this down me for diabetes. That wound up put me up in an ambulance. And that's when I made the decision that I was changing my life around. So I totally changed my diet lifestyle. I got on the system and I went through a mentality. I'm not going to lie. My mentality coming into this program was, this ain't going to work. I'll get my money back. At first, I might you. And blood work don't lie. I still had my blood work from June when I went to the doctor. And then the next thing you know, things start happening. And after that first month, I'm down like 34, 35 pounds after the first month.
Wow.
And I'm like, back up just a little bit. 2 weeks after my visit with my diabetic doctor, I'm at a cardiologist because I've got swelling of the feet and ankles so bad that it was, getting difficult to walk. Never had any issues with my feet and ankles. Like I said, I didn't realize I was that heavy, and I carried it around very well. But once you hit that 50 mark, you kind of start on that downhill slope. Your body starts telling you, hey, Jack, look out, it's time to do something. And I think it was the wake up call from the doctor, but like I said, I kept going to the pit master. His lives just kept coming back. So I've been on the system, I believe 9.5 weeks, maybe now.
It was easy July 1st.
Yeah. And so at the end of that 8-week period, I went back and I said, look, I want my blood tested. The proof is in the blood work. You can't deny blood work. So my A1C went from 8.8 in June down to 6.7. My triglycerides, like 289 down to like 205. The numbers have just started coming down. I was on 8 blood pressure medications a day. 9 weeks later, I'm taking 2.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
All this stuff I was sticking in my gut, gone. All this medication right here, this glipizide, this metformin and stuff, gone. Don't need it. My glucose levels are running steady. They're not spiking up and down. I've got those steadied out. And I've lost, I haven't weighed since last Wednesday, but I went from 492 pounds down to 432 pounds.
Awesome.
And in case you don't know what that looks like, maybe I can get this in the screen.
Oh, shucks.
I'm 492 in that orange shirt and 432 in that red shirt.
Yes.
And so I'm going through, in stores and towns and things, and people like, are you sick? And I'm like, no, I'm far from sick. And of course, I carried my product bottle with me everywhere I went. And so I've engaged in a lot of conversations locally here. And I've told Jim, I just realized that don't everybody know about this system, and people need to know about this system. Look at me. it works. I haven't exercised a bit except a fork from my mouth to my plate, you know. And I didn't feel like exercising at 492 pounds. I'm beginning to develop that energy level and that more, whatever you would call it, to where I want to get out and walk more, want to, you know, just benefit from it. But this system here is tried, true. It's clinically proven. So I decided to jump aboard last week and get on the distributor train. And I'm going to tell everybody that I could possibly tell that if you want to reverse your type 2 diabetes, if you want to get healthier, if you want to get rid of all the problems, most major problems that ties back to insulin resistance, then we need to talk. And so that's sort of my journey right now as we speak. So
I love this story, and I love every bit of this story because, like you said, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. What I want to do real quick is emphasize to everybody here, if you've been tagged into this live stream, if you've been invited into this live stream, that means somebody wants you to hear these messages. Somebody wants you to hear this, okay? They think that it could benefit you for whatever reason. It kind of literally addresses just about everything. If it sounds like something that you're interested in trying, the best part about this is it's a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied after 3 months, ask them for all of your money back. 100% of your money back. Ask for all of it back. They will give it all back. It's that easy. If you're not satisfied with it, ask for a refund. They used to do it based on a blood test. They were so confident in their product that they guaranteed that your cholesterol would drop, your A1C would drop, but that a blood test is a little bit hard to police. And so they said, you know what? Nobody's asking for a refund anyway. Let's do a satisfaction one. 100% guaranteed satisfaction. If you're not happy, ask for a refund. It's that simple. If you've been tagged into here by somebody, and I say tagged in, if somebody has invited you into this live stream for whatever reason, get with that person right there. That they will tell you how to order the system, okay? They have a referral link. The only way to buy it is through the manufacturer. Michael, if you don't mind, I'm going to shut your camera off real quick because I want to go through. I'm going to talk about how the system works, how we take it, and then I'm going to invite you back in here for any questions and answers that people might have directly of you. Is that okay?
that's fine, brother.
Hot diggity. Okay. So what is the system? How does it work? Well, we talked about intermittent fasting. We pair a 16 and 8 time-based eating schedule. So 16 hours a day we fast. So out of the 24 hours, you don't eat for 16. And it's completely customizable. You move that 16 hours to wherever you want it. I don't know about you, Dr. Tiffany, but for me, 8 p.m. until noon the following day, that is 16 hours. I don't eat at minimum.
Yep.
Okay. Sometimes I'm done eating at 7. I'm just done at 7 and I go till noon. Sometimes it's a late dinner. Tonight, it's probably going to be a little bit of a late dinner. I might not be done eating until 9 o'clock just because of this live stream. So tomorrow I won't eat until 1 p.m. 16 hours. It's pretty simple. Customizable. We pair that intermittent fasting schedule, that time-based eating, with 2 products. Now, I'm going to be careful about how to take the products because these live streams go international and it's slightly different protocol depending on where this is being broadcast. But in North America, you would get 2 teas and 1 balanced fiber. The 2 teas, it is called Unimate. Now, Unicity Unimate is a yerba mate extract. Yerba mate is a tea that's been pretty widely consumed in South America for 500 to 1,000 years.
Yep.
It's very high in something called chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid has been scientifically proven to reduce blood pressure. That's why you hear people like Michael saying he's gone from 8 down to 2. It's an anti-inflammatory. It helps with inflammation. It's been shown to be a novel insulin sensitizer that acts in a similar way to metformin. Interesting. In fact, there is some research that shows that chlorogenic acid induces GLP-1. Doctor, do you want to weigh in on GLP-1?
Oh yes, oh yes. I mean, you gotta be living under a rock to not know about GLP-1s. Those are the shots, the Kardashians have been taking. Ozempic, Wegovy, all the stars. But what this does is it boosts this hormone that we all have in our stomach. We already have it, but because of our lifestyle, we have suppressed it. So the shots boost that hormone astronomically, and what that hormone does is it makes your stomach feel full, but then it also slows down gastric emptying, meaning it slows down how fast food moves through your gut, and then tells your brain you're not hungry. But the good thing about the Unimate is that it actually naturally boosts that hormone without doing the crazy side effects. Like, you don't have to go have a surgery for a feeding tube. I kind of like not having to have a feeding tube, So, or thyroid cancer or pancreatitis and da-da-da-da-da. Just watch the commercials. It's on there.
So specifically, Dr. Ben Bickman. So for those of you who don't know who Dr. Ben Bickman is, he is an amazing author, by the way. Read this book. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Why We Get Sick by Dr. Benjamin Bickman. He also has a website called insuliniq.com. You should check that out.
Yep.
Dr. Ben Bickman is a professor of cell biology and physiology at BYU. And Dr. Tiffany, that is way over my head. I'm surprised I can say those words. But there are few people in the world, if any, that really understand the relationship between insulin and cell quite like he does. Is that a reasonably accurate statement to make?
Oh, yeah. I mean, metabolic health physicians is a whole nother society of metabolic health physicians. And that's where Lindsay, the physician's assistant, registered dietitian, she is awesome. Those are those people that have been doing this for years with learning about metabolic health. So, yeah, huge. And it's not that many people. Now,
Dr. Bickman says, and we just heard Dr. Tiffany say this, but Dr. Bickman said that Unimate, and in fact, I should play the clip. Dr. Bickman said that this increases GLP-1 production by up to 70% during a fasted state. He has also done published research on this. You can find it on PubMed, PubMed Central, basically showing that it increases fat burning in a nutshell. So we drink this. The way that this works is you wake up in the morning and first thing, I don't know about you, Dr. Tiffany, but first thing in the morning, I grab one of these. I add it to my little Yeti tumbler. I don't care if you have a Yeti or the other brand or whatever, but I add it to my little Yeti tumbler and I fill this up with hot water. And I say like coffee hot. I don't drink it blazing hot, but coffee hot. I give it a stir and I will sip on this for 2 or 3 hours. If you're in North America, and this is where we got a little bit of a caveat, right? If you're in North America, when you're done with this tea, you just immediately transition into the second tea. Just drink a second one right away. Just move right into it. That one, again, hot or cold, as much or as little water as you want. What you're going to find is that when you're drinking the tea, it is a natural appetite suppressant. You're not going to hear that food noise. It's the GLP-1. It is, it's just amazing. Right before you eat your heaviest meal of the day, you're going to drink a Balance. Now, Balance is a patented blend, and I say patented blend because who puts patents on fiber blends? But it is a blend of 7 different plant-based fibers and a multivitamin. Vitamin B complex. I think we should talk about that a little bit next week, huh? The B complex, the powerful for the brain. Right before your heaviest meal of the day, you drink this. It helps lower the glycemic index. It helps lower the insulin index. It helps lower blood glucose levels. In fact, it was studied at the Cleveland Clinic to help with LDL cholesterol, lower LDL. So if you're having struggles with keeping your LDL cholesterol down, the Cleveland Clinic, quote, could potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs.
Yep.
Is that not a statin, doctor?
That's what that is. That's the main one, yeah.
Quote, could potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Top heart hospital in the U.S. The University of Sydney, Australia, is the home of the glycemic index. They maintain the International Glycemic Index database and website. They have studied this as well. They found that it lowers blood glucose 20 to 28%, blood insulin 13 to 27%. And so right before you eat, you drink one of these.
Yep.
It is literally that simple. We got about 5 or 6 minutes left. I wanted to bring Michael back in. It looks like my mother-in-law left and John had to bail. But let's do this. What questions do people have? Here we go. There's one right away. Dr. Tiffany, I'm going to let you take that because I don't know as much about lactose. Would that also help with lactose?
I guess we mean lactose intolerance, maybe. So, I mean, since that is a gut issue, retraining your gut actually may help that out a great deal, which is what the balance does is with that insoluble and soluble fiber. So, yeah, they could potentially help out a great deal with that.
You know what's interesting is forever I thought that I was lactose intolerant. Every time I would eat a pint of ice cream, I would end up in the bathroom. And I always thought that it was the milk, never thinking about all of the sugar.
Yeah.
Doing it. And so when I started fixing my gut, guess what? My lactose intolerance went away. I'm no longer, I can actually enjoy cheese again. I didn't think I would ever be able to do that. It kind of went away.
Yep.
And I don't think it was not the lactose. It was the hordes of sugar that I was eating. I'm going to come in from TikTok over here. And then actually V Lucero on Instagram says, can someone take the products if they don't have a gallbladder? Great question.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Tiffany?
Yeah, it's not going to do anything with that. I mean, you use your gallbladder to break down all that fatty, horrible food you don't need to be eating. So this helps you out. It makes it hard to eat all that stuff. And, you know, the fiber part of that covers that. So it decreases how much it absorbs in your bloodstream. So, yeah, the gallbladder is not going to hurt that.
Okay. Also, V Lucero, you're on Instagram watching us, but on TikTok, I'm seeing Cows and Cotton. Her name is Michelle. And Michelle, I just want to read off a couple things she says. I've been on this system 12 months, down 99 pounds, 98 inches overall. That's amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Michelle does not have a gallbladder. So in practice, Michelle is over here on TikTok, does not have a gallbladder. Lupe Medina asks, what is the name of the product? It's called the Unicity Field Rate System. Here's the way you order it. You order the system through an existing member. So if you've been tagged into this live stream, whichever live stream you're on, whether you're on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, get with the person who invited you to the live stream. They will give you their referral code. That referral code will give you a lifetime discount to the manufacturer. If you don't know somebody and you want to order the product, just get with myself or Dr. Tiffany and we'll point you in the right direction. How about that? And I'm seeing a question over here. Wanda wants to ask, Michael, please share your A1C before and after again.
My A1C at the first week of June was 8.8, and 8 weeks later, it was 6.7.
That is so amazing.
That's phenomenal.
Dr. Tiffany, Cindy Lucas asks, would it help with gluten and dairy intolerance? I think that kind of ties into the lactose thing, but
it does. Well, most of those food intolerances have a lot to do with whatever you've been training your trillions of bacteria in your gut to tolerate. So when we've been eating, you know, for lack of a better word, crap food or a lot of carbohydrates, those bacteria have gotten used to it. And then some of them are like, I'm tired of it. I don't want it. That's where their intolerance comes from. Kind of like almost like insulin resistance kind of thinking. So once we retrain that gut with the fiber, with the fasting, with shutting down the gut, and then decreasing the inflammation with the fiber and the yerba mate, yeah, we get that healing. And then you start to realize, oh, I can eat this stuff again.
Fran asks, will those help with leg swelling? Do you mind if I take that one, Doc?
Oh, yeah, but I want to say hi to Fran. Hey, Fran. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Chlorogenic acid is an anti-inflammatory. Absolutely. It will help with inflammation. That's one of the first things people really notice is the inflammation. Just it drastically goes down. In fact, yeah, it's happened to a lot of us. We're getting up to our hour, so I want to wrap this up. Monica says, I just started this product. Today is day number 3 for me. I'm excited to see some results. Monica, we are excited to see that as well. Okay. Cows and Cotton on TikTok says, my inflammation is drastically down. V Lucero on Instagram says, can you take Unimate without the balance and still get good benefits? Of course you can, but why? Use the whole system. Use the whole system. Okay, psoriasis. Yes, Ginger. I actually just did a post. I'm not sure if it went out to my Facebook yet, but I just did a post where I specifically addressed psoriasis. I don't know if it's gone out yet or if it's one of the ones that I've got scheduled to go out pretty soon, but it's completed. It's going to be going out. And I forget, Tracy Mall, who's on Facebook right now, says, yes, it does. Okay, guys, we are right at an hour. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. This has been an amazing live stream. This was amazing. Michael, brother, you were a skeptic for a hot minute, for 6 months. And understanding that there are a lot of people who are skeptical as well. They're sitting here watching this saying, there's no way, this is too good to be true. What does Michael Martin say to that person?
Mm-hmm.
I show them the results. I tell them my numbers. And the first thing they want to know is, well, I just don't know if I can afford it. Well, you know, a box of this right here was $1,000 a month. A cup of coffee at Starbucks, I haven't seen one yet less than $7. You can get on this system for like $5.30 a day. It's affordable and it can be done. And I just think that I'm thankful that I met Jim. I'm thankful that this system was developed, and I'm thankful that my health is getting better. And if you really want to get your attitude right, and when you're faced with, you're not going to live another 3 years if you don't do something. If you'll look at it with that mentality, I believe your attitude would change and say, this guy can do it. Then, you know, I'll give it a shot. You got 90 days money back guarantee, people. What have you got to lose? Come on board and join the family.
I love it, brother.
That's it.
I love it. Michael, I will talk at you later, brother. Dr. Tiffany. What about you? What about your part? I think this has been an amazing live. I'm really excited about this.
It has. It's always amazing. I've been trying to calm down on the pom-poms. I've been trying to
Don't
hold
do
it
that.
down.
We love the pom-poms.
Hold it
We
down.
love the pom-poms. Don't slow down on that. We love them. What do you say, Dr. Tiffany? What are your parting words?
My parting words are, don't sit there watching it and stalking us for months and letting your health go through the toilet. Get up and do something. It is time to start. I'm so happy that people like Mike got up and made these changes, but I can't keep watching people. I had to see my father die after his 3rd stroke. So when I tell you that I am passionate about getting people to get up and move and make a change, I am. That's why I'm here. So I love that these products are easy to do. Simple. 2 simple products, 1 easy practice with great results. Don't miss out. Get up and move. Start today.
I agree. It's hard to follow that. If you are interested in purchasing the product, get with the person who invited you to this live stream. Get with them. They have a referral code. The referral code is good for a lifetime discount to the manufacturer. If you don't know somebody, if you just stumbled across this live stream, get with either myself or Dr. Tiffany. By the way, if you're watching this right now on one of my platforms or on Dr. Tiffany's platforms, my platforms are the Healthy Pitmaster. You can find me as the Healthy Pitmaster on every social media platform. Dr. Tiffany Marie on pretty much every single social media platform. If you don't know somebody, but you want to get on this, if you get with either one of us, we'll steer you in the right direction, okay? I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Dr. Tiffany, it was an absolute pleasure. I can't wait till next week.
It was. I can't wait.
By the way, we got an amazing testimonial coming next week. Absolutely amazing, right, Doc?
Yes, I know. Y'all better get ready to tag. Y'all need to start writing the list now. Stop playing.
Yes, it's an amazing. Not that these were amazing testimonials. There's an amazing testimonial coming next week.
Yes.
Dr. Tiffany, we'll see you next week.
Yes. Bye, everybody.